Aloha friends. Today's movement snack, nice and simple. We're just gonna start at the top and then work down. First we're gonna do 5 yeses, big yeses. Big yes. 2, 3, 4, these feel so good. 5, now we have to say no. So big no. And on the no, what I'd like you to do, look with your eyeballs. It gets more occipital engagement. These little muscles back here when you look with your eyeballs as well. Occipital engagement is something that we want more of. And then one more. Next up, I just call this pinkies and thumbs. Touch your pinkies together. Point your thumbs at the back of them. 5 of these. Oh, they feel so good. I might just keep going. This for me, and I know it's not about me, but for me, this area, or anybody who is sitting at a desk often, which I sit at a desk more now that I'm doing the online training, this area gets so tight, and this is one of the ways to bring range of motion back in. Jefferson curls, you're gonna do 5 of them. I'm just gonna do 1 now because I value your time. Just remembering 1 vertebrae at a time. At the ends, the hips tip that little bit lower. You'll almost always find that your last one is better than your first one. On my first couple, I touched a little higher, and then by the last ones, I'm usually getting palms to the ground or palms to the ground with slightly bent arms. And then, last but certainly not least, I call these orb circles because you're going to imagine an orb of energy in between your knees, and you're going to hold that orb there without squishing it. So pretend the orb is a bubble you don't want to pop. I'm glad he came over. We're going to do 5 in each direction because I just want to talk about weight training a little bit, and Mr. Mackey is going to help me. So, using a heavy weight, there are 2 favorite lower body exercises we can do. And the first one, just making sure my feet are good, is the squat pattern, where I squat down and I come up. Things to think about, chest up, shoulders back, best posture. At the bottom, I still have a flat back or a neutral spine. And through the movement, the weight is equally in my midfoot as much as it is in my heel. If it's too much in my heel, I'm falling backwards. Too much in my toes, I'm falling forward. So you should be able to wiggle your toes a little bit at that bottom of squat. The second favorite lower body movement is the hinge. I like the lunge too, but the hinge I think is a little bit more powerful because it trains us to really use our hips and not our low back while we stabilize with our low back. Mac is a little nervous I'm going to drop him, but of course he never would. And it's really emphasized by sending your hips and butt back. Back, 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 back. Big stretch in the hamstrings. Big stretch in the hamstrings. You'll notice, thank you, Mackie, at the bottom of that position, I only go as low as I can with a flat back. Might be able to go a little lower. Any lower than this, and something has to give, either up here, here, or here. To exaggerate that, to go lower, I have to round somewhere. And with the hinge, it's a very much emphasized flat back. It's not an overarched back, it's just neutral and holding that neutral position. This is why it's so powerful, is because when you pick up something in the garden, and it's like this, if it's a big thing, you kind of notice I have to adjust my position, but that kind of hinge. And if it was a small thing that was heavy, I could squat to get it. But if it's too big to squat and I've got to kind of get my knees and hips out of the way, it's a hinge. It's super functional. So those are our 2 strength movements. That first series, I just hope you did it with me. With the strength movements, we're going to do 3 to 6 rounds of 10 of each. Squats and hinges today. The reason I use Mack is I'd like you to use resistance of any sort. Dog, not Courtney, your dog is huge, but anybody else's dog. It might be a weight like this, and then doing the Romanian deadlift like this. But just get creative with it, how you hold it, and do those cues of chest up, feeling weight distribution, hips back, and the hinge. For our guts and butts, we did a really classic one the other day, so we're gonna do one that's kind of out there today. And the most out there one that I really love is the Fido Burrow. And that's just gonna be a standalone today. We're just doing the Fido Burrow. Fido Burrow, the Fido part is a, I don't know the real name for, fire hydrant. It kind of looks like when Mac pees on everything in the neighborhood. So just bringing the leg up. You'll notice none of my other structure moved, much at least, to get the knee up there. So a common fault is to bend this left arm so I don't lift my leg very high, and I just bend my arm to make it feel like I'm going higher. It's okay if you don't go that high. If you do, that's okay too, but having those rigid arms is gonna help keep you really honest. So that's the Fido part. Fido. And then Burrow is that donkey kick. For the purposes of today, let's do the toe point and only come into the point of extension that your glutes are doing. What I mean by that is don't overarch the movement like that to get your leg higher, because that won't be extra credit that counts. We only go as high as we can with a neutral spine and glutes that are working hard versus doing a big banana back. So try and feel that out. And the count that we're gonna do, you're gonna get 100 reps accumulated however you can. And the count that we're gonna do is just alternating. So it'd be 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And however many sets and reps you do, I want you to shoot for at least 1 higher rep set so you can start to feel things burn a little bit. Burning isn't always the indicator that something is working, but with these, it gives us a great awareness of our glute muscles, and a lot of people have sleepy glutes, so wake your buns up by doing a higher rep set. Feel the burn a little bit, and then you can do some shorter, smaller sets. But if you can, try and get to 100 today. I believe in you. Thank you, friends, for joining my workout with Mackie and me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.